At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive, expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
STEELE Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact STEELE Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit STEELE Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
Good evening, everyone, and Viva Las Vegas. Tonight, the FloridaSkinDoctor.com Racing Series heads to Sin City for the site of race number 8 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Who will roll the dice and hit it big tonight? We'll find out live right here on VSPEED. Thank you for tuning in here this evening to the STEELE Graphics and Designs 180. My name is Daniel Cunningham. Alongside me up here in the booth, as always, is Adam Baker running commentary and production, and we have those camera angles courtesy of the legendary Dougie Beard. Adam, we saw a really great race last week at Darlington, had a first-time winner on the season. Heading out to Vegas tonight, can't get much different than those two tracks. How are you feeling about this race this evening?
Yeah, I know we head to a traditional mile-and-a-half kind of cookie-cutter style racetrack here tonight, and some of those guys are thankful for that, and it's going to be an interesting one to see who can manage the tires. This is a bit of an older surface here in iRacing, and it's definitely sometimes a fuel mileage race at this racetrack, so going to be interesting to watch and see who plays the strategy right. Like you said, kind of rolls the dice and comes up big in the end. Some drivers to keep an eye on maybe tonight: Bailey Turner, really good on the fuel strategy, Seth Hatchell as well. And some of these guys really good kind of from the crew chief standpoint, being their own crew chief out here tonight. So going to be a fun one to watch. And yeah, you can see the track info up there on the screen. 1.5 mile racetrack, 20-degree turns, and this is a tri-oval. It's a true tri-oval here. This front straightaway, pretty much continuous curve for these drivers tonight.
Yeah, and this track also did have a reconfiguration, although to be completely honest, I don't remember when it was. I just remember when they first opened this place, it was kind of flat, kind of like the original Homestead layout in that aspect. And then when they did a repave on it, they added the extra banking, a slight bit of progressive banking, not what you see at like a Kansas or, Homestead, for example, but still does have a little bit of progressive banking. So something that these drivers can use here this evening. Let's take a quick look at our point standings. The top three, I would even say the top four with Bailey Turner there, kind of on their own little island right now, but especially that third place on up. Adam Cabot, Seth Hatchell, Braxton DeWeese, just 13 points separates the three of them in a pretty good spot for that chase when that starts. But then you see from sixth place, Keith Mayato, he is just 15 points above the cut line, all the way back to Michael Jones and Paul Hahn in 15th and 16th. They are just 17 points below, 16 and 17 points below the cut. So a lot can happen, a lot of movement that can take place here. And as you can see, a tie between Alan Dice and Jeremiah Vincent for that final chase spot right now. So, it's just a really tight points battle here in the mid-pack, although we do have those three drivers that have kind of separated themselves. Still a lot of close racing going on, a lot of drivers that just don't really have a big margin for error, even with those two drop races. So something we'll keep an eye on as we do get closer to that chase. After tonight, just 4 more races before that chase starts. So we are getting down to the wire here to have that run for a championship. But Adam, these drivers have finished up their qualifying runs. It is time to bring you tonight's starting lineup for the STEELE Graphic and Designs 180. And starting on pole, the guy that's leading the points, the guy that's won the most races this season, Adam Cabot. He is going to start in P1 this evening. Cody Maurer to his outside, really strong qualifying run for him. He will start in P2. Lining up on the second row this evening, Bailey Turner in the third position. Another driver with a really strong qualifying run. Cody Atkins in the fourth position. Good to see him with the solid starting spot here this evening. Row number 3 will be Braxton DeWeese in fifth. Angelo Ronis rolling off in the sixth position. Seth Hatchell will line up in P7. James Loveland to his outside in P8. Rounding out your top 10 here this evening be Ray Massey in ninth. And after a little bit of a layoff, Noah Mahalski making his return tonight, and he will round out your top 10.
Rolling off 11th, it's Keith Mayato, still rocking that throwback number 36 machine. Jake Maki going to start from the 12th position here tonight. Starting in 13th, it's Eric Hutton, one of those drivers trying to race his way up into the top 12 in points. Paul Hahn right there with him in the standings, starting in 14th here tonight. Jake Miller going to roll off from 15th position. Rob Liedl going to start in 16th. Starting in 17th tonight, it is going to be the number 48 of Jeff Wright, last week's winner, and then Dallas Sullivan going to join him back there in row number 9. In row 10, it's going to be Alan Dice and Dennis Faircloth rounding out your top 20. Rounding out your field here tonight, it'll be Zach Smith in 21st, Michael Jones in 22nd, and Thomas Brendel going to round out the field in 23rd.
Still pretty good field size here, 23 cars this evening. Let's take a quick look at our race analysis. 120 laps on the board tonight. Pit window be between 45 to 50 laps. 5 sets of tires, the one on the car, plus 4 more in the pits. And we do have those 3 green-white checker attempts, should we need them here this evening. And kind of following the theme here the last couple of weeks, no competition caution. It seems like the admins are happy with the way that the racing is played out naturally without having that early comp caution. So we are going to continue that here at Vegas this evening, and possibility that it may run flag to flag green. You can see up there track conditions, 98-degree track temp, not as warm as I honestly would have thought it was. 86-degree air temp, would have thought that the track would be just a bit warmer, but still warm enough that these drivers are going to be searching around for grip. It may cause the cars to slide around just a little bit here this evening. But the field is ready to get going. Adam Cabot, Cody Maurer, the 17 and 18, the front row here this evening. And we have got 120 laps on the board. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway at Las Vegas. And already that inside lane with a really good jump on that initial start. Bailey Turner giving a big shove to his teammate Adam Cabot. They are both able to clear. They bring Braxton DeWeese with them as well. Seth Hatchell now up into the 4th position. So, you know, we talked about it pre-races. Oh, Cody Maurer into the wall big off of turn 4, and contact between Cody Atkins and Noah Mahalski in the 0-3 there. A little bit of door banging between those two. Right, keeps it going, but, you know, we talked about it pre-race in our points. Cabot, Turner, DeWeese, and Hatchell, your top 4 in points, top 4 on track right now.
Yeah, those guys always rise to the occasion here in BTDY, up at the front of the field. Good battles going on in the mid-pack at the moment. Keith Mayato looks to the inside of the 55 of Cody Atkins, and Angelo Ronas catches the outside wall. And I was going to mention, after we saw Maurer catch that safer barrier, he caught it in a spot that a lot of drivers are going to catch it. That turn 4 wall really sneaks up on you here at Las Vegas. And he was a victim of that very early in this one, as we've got cars running all different lines early on in this race.
Yeah, that turn 4 exit, like you mentioned, is very treacherous here. You see Dennis Faircloth up there using the high line early. And a lot of people, you know, we kind of compared this to Kansas a little bit earlier in the pre-race. But unlike Kansas, you can't just get up on the wall and just run the Larson line the whole way around here. The exit of turn 4 especially narrows up really, really quickly, and it will reach out and bite you. It's really, I mean, it's really inviting. You think, I got all this room, I can get back on throttle, and bottom of the line, you just can't. It just gets too tight off of corner exit of 4. But you see some drivers already utilizing that high lane. As, oh, Cody Atkins going for a spin. He is through the infield grass. It looks like he's going to be able to hang on to it. He got loose off of turn number 4, but able to save it. And we are still green here. Let's take a quick look on the replay. He caught just a little bit of the apron there through turns 3 and 4. Maybe had a little bit of air packed on. And, I mean, that is a phenomenal job driving it through the grass and able to hang on to it there out of the 55.
Yeah, I want to see if there was any contact made, actually. Look from the bumper can. That's the 13 of Jake Maki. But yeah, catches the apron. He's sliding before there's any type of contact there. Doesn't look like they actually touched. So, yeah, good job saving the race car, and he will get back up to speed here at the tail end of the field. About 9.5 seconds off your race leader. And we have a battle. We have a wreck on the backstretch.
Two of Michael Jones is around. We're not going to get a caution for this, I don't think. And actually, yes, the yellow is now out. Yeah, so Dallas the 2 of Michael Jones was around, and Dallas Sullivan there caught up in it as well. Let's take a look on the replay here with this one. I didn't quite catch what happened there initially. It was between Michael Jones and Rob Liedl. They make some contact, and they end up both in the outside wall. Michael Jones is spinning, and it looks like Dallas Sullivan getting on the brakes to try to avoid the wreck. Probably has a lot of rear brake bias dialed into the car, and it just snaps around on him when he's trying to check up to miss this one. And, I mean, honestly, does a nice job keeping it off the wall and not hitting anything there, all things considered, with the way that that played out.
Yeah, and, you know, thinking back to last week, I believe it was Dallas that turned back to the right just a little bit during the pit cycle and was the one who turned it into the outside wall really hard in that race. It almost looked like it was the same situation. So maybe these Gen 7 machines don't like to turn right on the straightaway very much, because he's been victim to that in a couple of occasions here over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate circumstance, but early caution here, and it will help out somebody like Cody Atkins that had that spin, going to need to get caught back up. Maybe a couple of these drivers having a little bit of damage to fix as well. And early on here, it looks like drivers electing to take tires. The 00 of Braxton DeWeese actually slid through his pit box and had to back up, so he's going to lose some spots here on this pit exchange. We did have couple of drivers decide to stay out here. Cody Maurer and Jake Miller ended up staying out. Seth Hatchell came down, looks like took 2 tires, 9.9 seconds in his pit box. Noah Mahalski and Jake Maki, it looks like a fuel-only stop for them. That will be your top 5. And then everybody from Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner, they both took 4 tires. Paul Hahn in the 8th position, looks like did fuel-only. And Angelo Ronis and Ray Massey both taking tires there to round out your top 10.
Yeah, interesting to play a little strategy game at the start of the race like this, but a good opportunity with not that many laps on the tires to try to, take 2 tires and see what the balance changes. Noah Mahalski, Jake Maki, they will probably struggle as the run progresses. They're maybe hoping that we get another quick caution, then they'll have a slight tire advantage. But yeah, interesting moves there. Paul Hahn, like you said, he's in the 8th position on fuel only, it appears. So yeah, this is often a fuel mileage race, and we're around that window that if it went green from here, somebody might be able to stretch it the distance. It would be a lot of work, but we've seen crazier things happen here.
Yeah, it would definitely be a close one to try to pull that from here. And, you mentioned Jake Baki currently running in the 5th position on that pit cycle or pit strategy call. I got to give him a shout out real quick. That paint scheme that he is running was designed by our title sponsor of the race tonight. And it's a new partnership for him, too, with Hutch Gaming. And if there's no better way, I don't think, than to give our race sponsor a plug and a shout out than that paint scheme, because that thing looks absolutely awesome. He sent me a picture of it before the race started, and I was like, man, that thing just looks phenomenal. You've got the red, white, and blue, the America look on it. So shout out to him tonight. Shout out to our sponsor for putting that scheme together for him. Really awesome work there. But we're about to go back green. I like where the 8 of Seth Hatchell is. I think those 2 tires will help the balance of that car, help it free it up just a little bit. See if he can get a good jump here and maybe get clear to the lead for some clean air as we head into that restart zone. Cody Maurer, the control car, green flag back out in the air here on lap number 10. Maurer with a really good jump. Hatchell able to clear through for 2nd. See if he can find a way to get up there and get that lead away.
Yeah, and it's a hornet's nest right behind them. How about Adam Cabot going through the middle? It's nearly 4 wide.
Oh, they're thinking 4 wide for a second. They are going 4 wide, but they end up backing out of it as Mahalski and Miller backed out just a little bit there, but they were certainly 4 wide there for a moment.
Yeah, Jake Miller really struggling here. No tires, no pit stop at all. He's faded all the way back to 8th position and already in the clutches of some of these other drivers. As Seth Hatchell goes to the point, he's going to get by Cody Maurer, who's also on the original tires. So Seth taking advantage of those 2 as we've got 3 wide battling still in the middle of this pack. And Eric Hutton working to the inside of Ray Massey and Noah Mahalski. Oh, bobble there.
3 wide again. Almost contact between Jake Miller and Noah Mahalski. They're able to keep it clean.
Oh, they reckon.
And there is contact up ahead. Instead, it's Faircloth and others. Eric Hutton, Noah Mahalski, as we're on board with him. Ray Massey with big damage as well. Jeff Wright is going through the infield grass. Caution back out here on lap number 12. And that one involved quite a few drivers here. And we'll have to get the replay pulled back up to take another look at this one. Just those different tire strategies, different tire cycles. It actually started with Keith Maiato, it looked like, getting loose up there. And then everybody tried to take evasive maneuvers. And I think at one point they were just about 4 or 5 wide there on the front straightaway. You see Braxton DeWeese, it looks like, does a great job of sliding his way through there.
Jeff Wright goes for a big slide through the grass. Big hit, though, for Mahalski and Ray Massey. I think everyone else should be able to continue without much issue. Oh, actually, Jeff Wright went around at the end of all that, too. I'm not sure if he hit Keith Maiato or Eric Hutton. Oh, wow.
I don't think they made contact. That was very, very close. But Jeff Wright did have a hit to the right front there with the 83 of Dennis Faircloth. The one that I'm curious to see is the onboard from the 00 of Braxton DeWeese, because he was behind all of that due to the slow pit stop that he had. He was at the back of this pack, and he was able to funnel his way through this. I mean, there's just nowhere for him to go. You see, they're 2 wide, they're 3 wide in front of him. This is what he's looking at out front. It's never a good thing when you see 4 wide in front of you like that, and the seas just part for him, and he is able to get his way through there. So Braxton Deweese now up into the 9th. I think we're going to make it about the 7th position after pit stops here. And I mean, just really nice evasive driving there to get through that with the way that that played out in front of him.
Yeah, it's interesting how that all started. Keith Mayotta got loose down on the inside, kind of like what we saw from Cody Atkins when he went for a big slide, and that caused Dennis Faircloth to check up. He's got some damage on his car. Looks to be okay, and it looks like Jake Miller having a hard time getting into his box. Maybe just didn't quite get in there and try to spin the car around to get in the right spot, but he will get service started on the number 52. There's a few cars trying to get damage cleaned up, and everybody else going to stay on the racetrack.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Cody Maurer electing to stay out again on this caution. He did not pit on the first caution either. He's actually the only driver right now, it looks like, that is still out on the track that has yet to come down pit road at least once here this evening. So interesting strategy call by the 18. But, you know, I don't hate the call. We know that track position is important with the next gen. You know, that's what leads to these guys doing the fuel only calls, or in Seth Hatchell's case, trying the 2 tires. You know, clean air is king with this next gen. So I think that's a wise decision. And we've even seen, you know, on that last restart, how chaotic things get in the back of the pack, how easy it is to get caught up in someone else's mess. So try to keep yourself in front of it if you can.
Yeah, and that's what Seth Hatchell and Adam Cabot have done here. Cabot on the 4 tires has gotten up to the front row for this restart, and then Bailey Turner as well up to 3rd. Cody Maurer going to restart from the outside of row number 2. You got Angelo Ronas and Keith Mayotta, who are right around or in the last accident. So that's interesting that they're going to be right up here in the mix. And then Braxton Deweese made it through, and lots of other drivers here making up the rest of the top 10. And it looks like most of the drivers who were involved have gotten back on the racetrack, and we still have 18 on the lead lap. Jeff Wright came back down a second time to top up on fuel, it appears. So this, again, very close to the edge of the fuel window. You could theoretically stretch it from here, but we've already had 2 cautions, so you never know what could happen.
Yeah, a little uncharacteristic. We're so used to seeing these BTDY races go green for long stretches of time. So a little out of the ordinary to have 2 early cautions like this here in this series. But I have no doubts that these drivers will get it going, and we will see some long green flag runs here this evening. Pace car is off. We're going to fire him back up again here. Seth Hatchell, your race leader. Adam Cabot to his outside. Bailey Turner, Cody Maurer on the 2nd row. Green flag is back out in the air. We are underway yet again here at Vegas. Good start there for the 8 of Seth Hatchell. He's able to clear through, but he has got Bailey Turner tucked right up on his back bumper.
Yeah, 24 on those 4 fresh tires, feeling like Superman, going to put the attack on the number 8 machine. Adam Cabot right there, the Magic Man, just waiting to see how that battle goes. And then Angelo Ronas has slipped into that 4th spot. Cody Maurer continues to fall. He's now to 6th, and side by side with that is Braxton Deweese, who's now going to complete the pass. And Cody Atkins, good recovery after his big slide, going to race with Keith Mayotta. Both those guys have slid through right around turn number 4, and they're racing up here in the top 10.
Yeah, and Braxton Deweese, nice recovery after that pit road mishap, was sliding through his box back up into the top 5. Like you mentioned, Cody Atkins having a nice recovery here, back up into the top 10. Alan Dice, currently your biggest mover of the race on track, running in that 9th position, just ahead of James Loveland. He's up 10 spots from where he initially started the race. So good drive for him so far here as well.
Yeah, on board with him. It looks like Loveland going to jump to the outside and make the pass on him to go up to the 10th spot, or 9th spot rather. Alan Dice will fall back to 10th. But yeah, good run so far. Maki now looks to the outside, and big hits.
Oh, big hit there.
That was huge. Almost looked like the car came off the ground a little bit for Jake Maki, and then Dennis Faircloth followed him right into the wall, and they bounced off and hit the number 5 of Alan Dice, but everybody stayed pointed in the right direction. These guys definitely struggling with the handling here tonight, which is unusual. These next-gen machines are usually hooked up pretty well on these mile-and-a-halfs for the first few laps, and then they may start to slip and slide a bit. But yeah, a lot of guys really using every inch of racetrack off turn 4.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the theme of the evening here, is just who can keep the car underneath of them the best, and who is going to manage that exit of turn number 4 the best as well. As this battle for position is really starting to heat up here. You've got 4 cars under a blanket with Maurer, Mayato, Cody Atkins, and James Loveland. James Loveland, the one that's really on the move right now out of this group. Jake Maki behind them as well. He does have a little bit fresher tires after he took fuel only on that first caution and then came down on the second one, although only really a couple of green flag laps out of that. But currently putting it to good use. Maki up into the 9th position, and Dennis Faircloth there behind them. Saw him get caught up in one of those earlier incidents. He's now fighting his way back into the top 10. So even though we did have the early chaos, a lot of drivers with really nice recoveries here so far.
Yeah, meanwhile, Bailey Turner has gone to the point. Seth Hatchell falls to second. There was just a quick side-by-side battle between him and Adam Cabot, and Seth able to hold on to the position for the moment. Angelo Ronis has closed in, so the top 4, top 5 now have broken away by quite a distance back to Keith Mayato. It's about a second and a half between DeWeese and Mayato, who's bringing James Loveland with him, and they've started to separate from the rest of the field as well. Jake Maki, Dennis Faircloth doing battle off turn number 4, and Maki going to take the spot away to move into the top 10, and Cody Maurer still hanging on those old tires.
Yeah, Maurer doing a nice job, and we saw him get into the wall earlier too, so possibly even a little bit of damage on that car and still able to hang on to it. This battle is the one to watch though. Just about a lap or so ago, Jake Maki and Cody Atkins were side by side as Maurer gets in deep. It almost gets into Cody Atkins, and now they're 3 wide. So yeah, this is definitely the battle to watch right here. But just about a lap and a half ago, Maki and Atkins were side by side, and there was just about contact between the two of them. And big moment there is, oh, we've got trouble in the back of the pack. Dallas Sullivan around hard into the outside wall. I don't think it's going to trigger a caution because he has got it down onto the apron. But huge contact there for the 46. This was right in that same group at the back portion of it. And yeah, he had just a little bit of help there from the 52 of Jake Miller. Little teammate on teammate violence there, gets into Dallas Sullivan, and Sullivan definitely catching the worst of that. Thomas Brendel taking evasive action down to the apron. That was a close call between he and Dallas Sullivan there. But Dallas currently showing a meatball flag, so pretty substantial damage there for the 46. Going to be the end of a competitive night here, at least for him.
Yeah, Adam Cabot's completed the pass on Seth Hatchell, so move him to the runner-up spot for the moment. Hatchell trying to hold off a hard-charging Angelo Ronis. Braxton DeWeese right in this mix as well. He's lost a few car lengths, but did have to battle from the back of the field earlier in this race, so he's probably used a little bit more of those Goodyear Eagles than the rest of these guys who have been up front most of the night. And then Keith Mayato, James Loveland, again, they've kind of separated from the next group, but Cody Atkins starting to maybe make some progress towards them. He's putting down some really nice lap times. Actually, the lap before, he was one of the fastest cars on the track. This last time, still in the top 10 in terms of speed. So solid run going for Cody Atkins. Dennis Faircloth has cleared Jake Maki in that battle. He settles into 9th, and then Maki rounding out your top 10. So that's how things ride for the moment, and they're spaced out pretty well.
Yeah, starting to spread out as that was Dennis Faircloth that just got into the wall off of turn number 4. Kind of the key to the evening that we've been talking about here through these first 28 laps is just who is going to manage that exit of turn 4 the best. Adam Cabot right now is starting to close in on his teammate Bailey Turner for that overall race lead. And the one thing that I'm noticing here is we actually have a battle for third brewing here as well between Angelo Ronas and Seth Hatchell. But the one thing I'm noticing is these drivers are able to follow pretty closely. It seems like the draft does help down the straightaway. But then once you get into the turn, you've really got to try to search around for that clean air. Even the last couple of laps watching Cabot and Bailey Turner, it just seems like whenever Adam Cabot gets close within about 2 to 3/10 of a second, that dirty air really starts to affect the car. Otherwise, he's having to search around, maybe run a line that's not necessarily preferred, but you can see just how much he's able to close down the straightaway with the aid of that draft.
Yeah, down to about a car length. Then Bailey Turner goes to the middle of the track. Cabot elects to stick it down to the bottom. This will reverse the momentum just a little bit on the backstretch. So there goes Bailey Turner extending the lead just a bit. And then into 3 and 4, Cabot's been running the top side, which appears to be working very well. This time, really nice run off the corner. Gets close to the outside wall. Maybe pushed it a little too hard, but will use the draft down the front straightaway. And Seth Hatchell, nice job on the 2 tires, settling in here in that 3rd position. And the top 2 not getting away too far. But he's been able to withstand the efforts from Angelo Ronas and Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, and the one thing that I like, even though Adam Cabot is able to run that top pretty effectively over in turns 3 and 4, I kind of like Bailey Turner running the low line, even though he doesn't necessarily get the run on corner exit, because we've just seen how dangerous that exit of 4 is, especially if you are running the high lane. If it tightens up just a little bit, I mean, we know they're teammates. We know that they're not going to race each other dirty by any stretch. But all it would take is just catching a little bit of dirty air the wrong way on the exit of 4. And if you're already running that top groove, you just don't really have anywhere to go to try to counterbalance that. So as you can see there, Cabot going back to the bottom over in turns 3 and 4, tried to stay just offset of Bailey Turner a little bit, keep some air on the front of that car. So a little bit further back here, got a battle between Maki, Dennis Faircloth, and Alan Dice here for the last 2 spots in the top 10. This is 9th through 11th out on the racetrack.
Yeah, good battle for the last couple of laps between these drivers. Also, you've got Jeff Wright behind them, who collected some damage in that accident. The driver we would expect to run up towards the front in these Gen 7 machines at a 1.5-mile racetrack like this, but obviously the damage hampering him just a little bit. So he's going to be hoping for another couple of yellow flags, maybe get it cleaned up a little more and have another shot at getting up towards the front. But definitely not handling the way that he would like it. Michael Jones, Jake Miller behind him, just barely hanging on to the draft of these 4 cars.
And up front, it looks like we've got a pass for the lead shaping up here between Turner and Cabot. They are side by side as they head down the front straightaway. This is going to be Adam Cabot's opportunity. We'll see how hard Bailey Turner wants to fight this. If he tries to maybe side draft, hang on his outside. He doesn't pull the side draft, but he's going to try to pull the crossover here. Looking back to the inside of Adam Cabot. The teammates going at it for the race lead here. Almost touched down the straightaway. We'll see if Turner can pull the slide job back on him, but I think Adam Cabot's finally got him where he wants him to try to use that momentum down the straightaway.
Yeah, I think Bailey Turner's okay with racing him hard. I think he owes him one after a few weeks earlier in the season. These two have been around each other so much here in 2026 and having a great battle for the lead. Look at this. There goes Cabot around the top side again, but a little side draft here will slow him as they get down into turn number 3. Bailey Turner still hanging on just a little bit down there in the inside lane, and all this is doing is bringing Seth Hatchell back into the mix. Really tight off the corner, maybe a little rub and a little touch to the outside wall for Cabot, but he's able to clear and take the lead away.
Yeah, that bobble was all that Adam Cabot needed to be able to clear through for the lead. Now with that clean air, we'll see if he's able to pull away from the rest of the field. That side-by-side battle did allow Seth Hatchell now to close in. He's just about a half-second back of Bailey Turner, 7/10 off the race lead. We do have a new third-place runner here with Braxton DeWeese now in the 00. He was able to get around the 22 of Angelo Ronas up there trying the high line. First time we've really seen him, or at least that I've seen him from just kind of watching his, just watching him on track here, going up into that high groove. But now Keith Mayato, he's starting to make a little bit of ground as well. He's actually been running lap times that are comparable to our race leader, Adam Cabot. So he's another driver with a lot of long run pace starting to work his way forward.
Yeah, both he and James Loveland have been running really good lap times. You can even throw Cody Atkins into that mix. You know, qualified up in the top 5, running in 8th right now. And he, last time at the line, appears to be your fastest car on track. So 55, some long run pace. So good to see that here. As Mayato now taking a peek to the outside of Angelo Ronis and able to get on by. So moment there for Angelo Ronis, going to cost him a spot. And Mayato into the top 5.
Yeah, Mayato showing that long run prowess here this evening, up into the top 5 for the first time. And, you know, he's kind of running that middle line over in 3 and 4. He's not really going to an extreme one way or the other like we've been seeing some of the other drivers. Does run a little bit higher here in 1 and 2, trying to get some momentum down the back straightaway. He's going to be able to pull alongside the 00 Braxton DeWeese. And he's going to have what I would say is probably the preferred line as far as trying to complete the pass up on that top groove. You just need to be able to carry all the momentum. Plus, as you can see there, the 00 just not able to carry as much speed, not being able to go all the way out to the wall. Mayato in the 36, able to clear up into the 4th position now.
Yeah, now James Loveland's also closed up on Angelo Ronis. He's going to look to the outside off turn number 2. And should be alongside. Angelo probably not going to fight him all that hard. He's going to give him that spot. So Loveland and Mayato on the move here. Still putting down amazing lap times, even with battling for position. So Keith has a little bit cleaner air. We'll see what he looks like in terms of lap time at the line. Yeah, about a half tenth faster than Adam Cabot. And over a tenth faster than Seth Hatchell. And just nearly 2 tenths faster than Bailey Turner. So Turner's struggling as this run goes on. Here comes Seth Hatchell putting the pressure on.
Yeah, Hatchell has used those 2 tires and has tracked Bailey Turner back down. Turner now searching for grip up on the highest groove of the racetrack. Found a little bit of speed there on exit. He's able to carry that momentum down the front straightaway and hold off Seth Hatchell for now. Seth, though, looking to the inside, should be able to slide up in front of the 24 and clear for the position here. See if Turner is able to carry that momentum and look back to the inside. He's got a little bit of speed down the straightaway, gives Seth a bit of a shove there. Doesn't try the crossover. I think he knows, like, hey, we're just going to slow each other down a little too much here if we start trying to trade this back and forth. Wisely just slots into the 3rd position. And there's James Loveland now up into the top 5, the 0-2, picking off another spot, getting around Braxton DeWeese. So Loveland and Mayato, Hatchell, you know, they all have a commonality. They've all got that Team VSPEED affiliation there, starting to work their way up here as we get longer into this run.
Yeah, we saw at Darlington, Seth Hatchell, one of those guys fastest on the long run, and we often see that, but you got to wonder if Bailey Turner might be thinking fuel mileage. You know, he said it was close to the edge of the window. He seems to be a little slower headed down into the corner. You know, that's a good indicator sometimes when you're not running 100% throttle. Let's go on board with him here, see if we can listen in. Well, it doesn't sound like he's clutching or anything like that, but very easy and smooth on the throttle, maybe just trying to save a little bit, you know, to see how things go here over the next handful of laps. But Keith Mayato going to look to the inside, should be able to take that spot away, and he will move into the 3rd spot.
Well, my initial reaction is to say, I don't think there's any way that you could one-stop it from where that last caution came out. You know, the drivers, a couple of the drivers I talked to pre-race said between the 45 to 50 lap range for a fuel run. But the last time that I said that about Bailey Turner was at Darlington last season here in BTDY, that there's no way that he can make it, and he absolutely proved me wrong. So I'm not going to make that same mistake again. If there's anybody that can pull it off, it is Bailey Turner in that 24 car. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, as we got a good battle for position going on here. That is Paul Hahn and Jake Miller fighting for position just outside the top 10 in the 13th and 14th places. And Jake Baki there, we saw him having a little bit of speed earlier. Looks like maybe the handling's starting to go away on that 13 car, as he's actually now under pressure from Jake Miller for the 13th position.
Yeah, they've definitely used up the goodie on those Goodyear Eagles, and they're about a half second off of your leader's lap times. I was looking at Jeff Wright. He's putting down some of the fastest laps of anyone back here in ninth, but has gotten around Alan Dice and has started to close in on this lead group. You can see he's not that far back from Cody Adkins, and I would consider Cody kind of within arm's reach of, the lead battle. So, Jeff Wright is not out of this thing yet. He's gaining a 10th every single lap, and we've got, another 10, 15 laps in this, or rather, we've got about 5 to 10 more laps in this pit cycle, and he does have a tire advantage that's finally working out for him.
Well, and Jeff Wright also does have a fuel advantage. He is just 34 laps in on this stint versus the rest of the field, for the most part, being about 41 laps in. He did come down and top off on one of those cautions that we had when a lot of drivers elected to stay out. He's on that strategy. Jake Miller, Jake Baki, Paul Hahn, Dennis Faircloth, Eric Hutton, they are all on that same strategy as well. So that's something else to consider, is that if there is somebody that could potentially one-stop it, I think Jeff Wright would be the one that we would have to circle as the guy to keep an eye on. Could this go green the rest of the way?
Yeah, and he's putting down comparable lap times to the leader, so he's not losing time at the moment. He could make it on fuel. He could be setting himself up to be in a really good spot here, and he did win it on strategy to some extent last week, kind of cautions falling the right way. Wasn't necessarily the fastest car throughout the entire race, but once he got to the lead, never gave it back up, and that's what Jeff Wright likes to do, and so often does. So wouldn't be a surprise again if he plays the strategy just perfectly and comes away with another win, even though he hasn't really been up in the running, but obviously has the pace for it.
Yeah, and just doing a little bit of quick math here, he could potentially run this to about lap 65 based off of the numbers that I was given pre-race. So if he can do that, it would just put him at 55 laps for the final stint, where, I mean, compared to 50 laps, I think that's very doable to save 5 laps over the final run, if this does go green to the end. Still a long way to go to get there. And up here, just ahead of Jeff Wright, Cody Atkins making a pass around the 00 Braxton DeWeese for position. And Cody Atkins, I mean, really strong run here for him. I was talking to him a little bit pre-race. He said he went into this season with the mindset of just try to complete all the laps, finish the races. If you followed along last season, that wasn't a given for him. So really awesome to see that it's working out for him and having a really strong run here this evening. Is Braxton DeWeese in the 00. He is going to go ahead and kick off this round of green flag pit stops. He's the first one of those that is on the lead lap that'll make his way down here on lap number 54. So, yeah, I would have to think that that's going to put him outside the window to make this on one more stop. I mean, 65 laps on fuel. I think that's a little bit too much to ask out of that tank. But we'll see how it works out here and how these drivers decide to split it up if they are going to have to make one more additional pit stop from here. Looking back on the track, though, you can see Bailey Turner has tracked the 02 of James Loveland back down and starting to put a little bit of pressure on here for what is now the 4th position. So another good battle starting to shape up here.
Yeah, and Keith Mayato is getting closer and closer to Adam Cavett, and that gap now just 1 car length. Keith Mayato is on a tear here in this second run of the night and trying to get that 36 to victory lane for the first time this season. Not a great exit off turn number 2, but he is right there in the tire tracks of that number 17 machine.
Yeah, he is starting to put some pressure on. He has consistently been one of, if not the fastest car on track here for the back portion of this run. As Bailey Turner brings the number 24 machine down pit road for 4 tires and fuel, his first green flag stop of the night. So he'll be the second one of our race leaders to go ahead and kick off that pit cycle, as he is down and away with those 4 fresh tires. And yeah, I mean, Keith Mayato, you know, talking about him right before we caught that pit stop there for Bailey Turner, just really good long run pace. It's kind of been a bit of an uncharacteristic start to the season for him. You know, we're used to seeing him up here running up front, contending for wins. Hasn't gotten the win yet on the season. He has shown speed, but just hasn't quite had things fall his way so far. So tonight may be the night to turn that around for the 36, as now Angelo Ronis is going to make his way down pit lane.
Yeah, Jake Mockey also going to come down. So these guys getting to about lap 43 on their run and bringing it down to pit lane. And it shouldn't be too much longer for these leaders who are just at lap 50 on this set of tires and fuel. Keeping an eye on who else is going to elect to bring it in here. It doesn't look like any takers inside the top 10. But battle for position, Jeff Wright has taken it away from Cody Adkins. That is the 5th position. So Jeff Wright continuing his march forward. He's only 3.7 seconds back. He's gained about 3 seconds in the last 10 laps or so. Definitely on a charge here to get towards the front at the end of this run.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing how he's been able to run his way up through the field. He may not even need to worry about pit strategy, to be honest. He might just have the raw pace to do it. As Eric Hutton brings the number 88 down pit lane. We do have a new race leader as well. Keith Mayato able to get around the 17 of Adam Cabot for the race lead. We'll see now that Cabot has lost the lead if he pits, and he is going to go ahead and bring it down pit lane here. So going to try to utilize that undercut, use the fresher tires to his advantage. Not a ton of tire fall off here this evening, but it has been about a second per lap so far. So the new tires are going to be worth something as they work their way up through the field here. As we see Keith Mayato now leading over James Loveland, Seth Hatchell in the 3rd position. And it looks like Jeff Wright has actually made his way down pit lane as well.
Here comes your race leader, Keith Mayato, going to give up that top spot after he took it away from the 17. James Loveland has been on an equal tear, I think, to the speed of Keith Mayato. He's able to get up to 2nd, now takes the lead away. Seth Hatchell on those 2 tires from the previous pit stop, still out here, still putting down solid lap times, but you can see he's starting to fade quite a bit at the end of the run. Compared to the 02 and the 36. Maybe pit time for him, but he's going to stay out on those 2 tires. And James Loveland is going to bring it in, throwing a little curveball there. Cody Adkins going to stay on the racetrack as well. These guys are definitely looking to stretch it, I think.
Yeah, I think these drivers are the ones that may be able to make it on one stop. It kind of surprised me to see Jeff Wright come down pit lane as early as he did. He's basically staying on schedule with the race leaders that he was starting to track down. So, I mean, he may be of the mindset, I don't need to try a different strategy. I can get them on outright pace. As here comes Seth Hatchell. He's going to be the next one to bring it down pit lane. Cody Atkins, Alan Dice, it looks like is going to follow as well. And Michael Jones. So your top 4 here, 4 of your top 5 rather, electing to come down pit lane. That is going to give Jake Miller the race lead. Paul Hahn now in 2nd. And Dennis Faircloth trying to see if something may have happened to him. He's actually showing a meatball flag right now for the 83. I'm wondering, because he has been out there for a little while, I don't think it would be a tire. I don't think it would be a tire meatball flag, but it is a possibility that that's what it's from, that he's just run the tires so long that it's basically showing 0% tire left.
You know, interesting thing to note, Jake Miller and Paul Hahn, they've only been out here 51 laps. Dennis Faircloth as well will be ticking over to 51 as he gets to the start-finish line. But those guys can potentially go another 4 or 5 laps, and that would get them to the end without a doubt. So, or it would be right at the edge of the approximate fuel window. So these guys could be in the perfect position. Seth Hatchell and company that just pit, they're still going to have to be pretty conservative on the fuel. They went 55 laps. And they're going to have to go 56, but they had a caution in there as well to save a couple laps of fuel. So it's going to get pretty aggressive in terms of saving from those guys, as it looks like Jake Miller, Paul Hahn down here on the inside lane. Not sure if they're going to bring it in yet.
Yeah, I think it looks like the 52 is slowing up to make his way.
Oh.
Oh, as he starts to spin out, as he gets on the pit lane. Maybe a little too much rear brake dialed into it. That won't trigger a caution since he is spun off the racing surface. The 7 of Paul Hahn, he also finds his way down pit lane. So that'll give the lead back over to Adam Cabot once he cycles back around. I just, just looking at how long these drivers went, it looked like about 53, 54 laps was the longest anybody went. And that was with the aid of some caution flags. And that's right where we're at right now. So, I mean, maybe Paul Hahn might be the driver that could stretch it to the end, but I think everybody's going to have to come down pit lane one more time.
Yeah, it may be very close for drivers like Paul Hahn. It looks like Dennis Faircloth also brought it in during that cycle, but some of those guys are going to cycle to be just too far back, I think. Maybe more than a lap or almost 2 laps down. So Paul Hahn still on the lead lap. You can see him exiting, but he's going to be at the very tail end as Adam Cabot works his way off of turn number 2. So that's the difference there with potentially making it and having the race lead. So gonna be definitely interesting. Paul Hahn could be, on pace here to win maybe his first race ever.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the pit strategy plays out. Jeff Wright, though, he is absolutely on the move right now. There is no saving going on from that 48. He actually just got past Angelo Ronis and Bailey Turner in the same lap, going from 5th up to the 3rd position. And even in doing so, was still about 0.2 faster than your race leader, Adam Cabot. So he's currently only about 2 seconds back of the race lead. He's on even tires to Adam Cabot. So we're not talking about a tire advantage here. There is just a ton of speed in that 48 car. I know, Adam, you and I were both kind of wondering if maybe he had a little bit of lingering damage on the car from that early incident, but it doesn't seem that is the case so far.
No, he is back up to full song here. So no problems for the 48 other than potentially how far he can go on fuel. It might be a strategy call for some of these guys who don't think they're going to make it to maybe just swing back in and top up and really minimize their time on pit lane while having fresh tires and making the pit stop a little bit easier on themselves. It wouldn't surprise me to see some guys maybe flip that kind of, reverse the strategy and not have to, conserve and just go all out for the rest of this race. We may see a couple guys like to try and do that and, throw a Hail Mary out there pretty much. But, yeah, Jeff Wright doesn't seem to be doing that. Bailey Turner could be conserving just a little bit. But he is at a tire disadvantage, 5 laps to Jeff Wright and company up there in the top 3.
Yeah, and Bailey Turner did pit before these drivers, so I think it would even be more difficult for him to be able to make it to the end. And one thing that I heard a few drivers saying before the race was that there's just not a ton of off-throttle time here, especially when you're on the newer tires. And then if you do decide to move around, try to use those upper lanes, you're going to burn more fuel that way. So it's going to be a tall order to be able to save the fuel to make it to the end, but somebody's going to try it. We know somebody's going to give it a go to see if they can make it. As you can see, 10 lead changes so far, just the 2 early cautions. We could be on the verge here shortly of seeing an 11th lead change for the evening. Keith Mayato has been tracking down Adam Cabot now within 0.3 of a second of your race leader. As they start to come up on a little bit of lap traffic, we'll see if that kind of equalizes that clean air advantage that Cabot has. But Keith Mayato, we saw the speed on the long run the first go around, and he is already starting to put some pressure on that 17 car here.
I tell you what, the strategy for Cody Maurer did not work out. He's at a huge tire disadvantage, and he's at the tail end of the lead lap, and he's in the wall and riding the wall off of turn number 4. That may not work out very well for Keith Mayato as he comes down the racetrack just alongside him. 36 able to avoid, but that is going to cost him 3 or 4 tenths of a second in valuable time here at this point in the race.
Yeah, that was not ideal for Keith Mayato. And to Cody Mauer's credit, it looked like he was just trying to stay up, stay out of the leader's way, give them plenty of room to race. Made a little bit of a mistake and got into the wall. And Keith Mayato almost wrong place, wrong time in that. Now about a half second back of Adam Cabot. So a little bit of work to do to try to make that ground back up. But here for the last spot in the top 5. The 22 of Angelo Ronas has it. The 02 of James Loveland trying to take it away. Both of these drivers are actually tracking down Bailey Turner here. James Loveland looking to the outside. A lot of speed in that 02 car tonight. Should have the preferred line here to be able to go ahead and complete this pass. Angelo Ronas looks like just backs off and lets him have it here instead of fighting it. Just behind them, Seth Hatchell in the 8 car. He's running pretty fast lap times right now. Does have a tire advantage over Angelo Ronas, Bailey Turner, and Jeff Wright ahead of him.
Yeah, he was one of the last takers to pit road, other than Paul Hahn. And Paul's putting down really nice laps, about a tenth faster or more than Adam Cabot, and able to kind of maintain that gap up to him. If he doesn't have to pit again, it's going to cycle around. He would be in the lead by about 14 or 15 seconds. So that's just something to note as we get closer to the end of this race. And James Loveland working underneath Cody Mauer. He's right in the tire tracks of
Oh, we've
Bailey
got
Turner.
a yellow flag out.
We'll throw it out the window. Everything we just talked about.
All that pit strategy we were talking about, yeah, just go ahead and throw all that out the window as we are under the yellow flag here. Looks like it was the 52 of Jake Miller that is going to put us under our 3rd caution here of the evening. And that is very reminiscent of what we saw out of Keith Mayato, Cody Atkins, few others earlier in the race. Just running the bottom, just trying to mind his own business. And the back end of the car just snaps around on him. And typically in these next-gen cars, whenever it starts to break loose, you're really not saving it. That doesn't look like a lot when you first look at it, but these cars do not counter steer very well.
Nice job by Alan Dice. And there's another car there that we're able to get around. This is a good break for Cody Mauer, who had just gone a lap down. So he's going to get the lucky dog and get back around Paul Hahn. His strategy call not going to necessarily work out for him, as he's going to have to catch up to the field here, running 13th, last car on the lead lap. And we'll see maybe a couple of drivers stay out, in Dennis Faircloth and Jake Miller, but they may come back in and get some fresh tires as well. So yeah, we'll see how things work out with this, but Adam Cabot going to bring him down pit road.
Yeah, this will put everybody back on even footing. It'll put everybody back to where they can 100% make it on fuel the rest of the way from here. So, yeah, that'll take the strategy play out of the equation as we head to the latter stages of this race. But now I'm really curious to see, when we get this reset here, how somebody like Keith Mayato, Jeff Wright, those two guys have shown so much speed on the long runs here this evening. Will they have enough time to utilize that long run pace is really the question. As taking a look right now as they sit on pit road, it looks like the 02 of James Loveland actually showing a black flag penalty, most likely for speeding on pit lane. So tough break for him. He's going to have an EOL as we get back going here. Although it may, I actually just heard him say something in the race about it may have been for something other than speeding. So more to come on that. May end up getting cleared by the race admins. But as they come off of pit road, it's Adam Cabot, your race leader, Jeff Wright in second, Keith Mayato, Bailey Turner, and for now, James Loveland in the 5th position. Rest of your top 10 will be Angelo Ronas, Cody Atkins, Alan Dice, Seth Hatchell, and Braxton DeWeese.
I think this is as good a time as any here. 2/3 of the way through tonight's race. We'll go quickly to a side-by-side commercial break. We'll be right back with the green flag.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Welcome back to the STEELE Graphic and Designs 180 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. See, get ready to go back green. Adam Cabot, Jeff Wright, your front row. Keith Mayato, Bailey Turner, the second row. Green flag is back out. We are back underway. Just 40 laps to go. Great jump there for the 17 of Adam Cabot. Clears through for the lead. But to me, the most important part, Jeff Wright able to maintain that second position. This is the best position he's been in throughout the race. He's been behind the 8-ball on pitch strategy, or rather on track position. And now he's got a chance to really get up there and put some pressure on for the race lead.
Yeah, this is still going to be a pretty long run to the end, right? Just about 40 laps. Keith Mayato up here in the top 3 under pressure from Bailey Turner. Those two have been side by side since the start, or the restart rather. And Angelo Ronis right here behind them. Good run for him. James Loveland did get that black flag cleared, so he's still up here in 6th. Cody Adkins, who's had a very strong performance tonight, in 7th. Hatchell trying to recover after pitting late in the cycle, running in the 8th position. But battle, most importantly, I think up here, Bailey Turner took the 3rd spot away from Keith Mayato.
Yeah, and that is going to be a huge help to Adam Cabot, your race leader, because we've seen that long run pace that Keith Mayato has. So the more cars that Adam Cabot can have in between the two of them, that's only going to make Keith have to work that much harder to be able to work his way back up through the field. But as they currently run, Cabot has stretched that lead out to about 0.4 of a second now over Jeff Wright. Bailey Turner still hanging strong in that 3rd position. Mayato and Angelo Ronis, your top 5 right now. Seth Hatchell now trying to work that top groove, see if he can get a little bit of momentum down the back straightaway here. He's going to have a run on Angelo Ronis, but is he going to be close enough to use it? Not quite yet. It's going to follow that 22 into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, you can hear him lift just a little bit after he got back on the throttle. That aero, deficit there running behind somebody definitely affected him down in 3 and 4. Taking a look a little further back, Braxton DeWeese here in 9th, trying to work his way underneath Cody Adkins, as it looks like Hatchell got checked up just a little bit. He's going to be able to get in front of the O2, hang on to that position for the moment. Braxton DeWeese, big charge down low. Alan Dice, Cody Adkins very tight side by side. Oh, hit into the wall
Cody
there.
Adkins into the wall. Yeah, that's that exit of turn 4 that we've been talking about throughout the evening. It looks like some pretty decent damage there on the right front of that 55 car. You can see it looks a little scuffed up. Going to have some ill handling effects as a result of that, though he does still currently hold the last spot in the top 10, right behind Alan Dice there. And Braxton DeWeese now trying to look to the outside of James Loveland in the 0-2, but not quite close enough to make a move just yet. All these drivers just, they're so even right now on overall speed. But now Braxton DeWeese looking to the inside, trying to make a move down on that part of the track. They're thinking about 3 wide here with Seth Hatchell. Hatchell, though, goes to the bottom, blocks off the run that DeWeese had. He's able to hold that position.
Yeah, and that's going to help his teammate, James Loveland, actually clear the 0-0. And Seth, one of those guys pretty good on the long run, even on the 2 tires, was able to stay in the top 5. James Loveland, one of the best on the long run tonight, along with Keith Mayato. So keep an eye on him to make some passes as this run progresses. But Keith Mayato has not been able to do anything with the top three. You can see they're actually starting to pull away from him just a little bit. And, you know, I think that's by design. I think he's trying to maintain a bit of a gap, get cleaner air, and then try and hold on to this position until he can start to charge forward.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see how these drivers kind of maintain gaps and how they manage everything as they run in this next gen car, because you don't really want to stay tucked up behind somebody for too long. Just run the risk of overheating the tires and just losing too much grip as a result of that. But right now, Adam Cabot maintaining that 0.4 of a second lead. Bailey Turner about another 0.3 behind that. Closest battle in the top five is between Mayato and Angelo Ronis. Angelo in that 22 car staying tucked up right behind Keith Mayato, just about 1/10 of a second or so back. It's a nice run down the straightaways here, but just not quite able to make the move stick, is now Keith Mayato starting to put some pressure on Bailey Turner for third. But looks like he got just a little bit tight in the center of the turn there as he closed in on the back bumper of the 24.
Such a tough balancing act of knowing how hard to push the car down into the corner and, you know, just positioning yourself somewhere that the guy in front of you isn't. That's just impossible to predict sometimes. They're also playing a chess match with you, right? So you're trying to do something to surprise them. They're trying to do things to surprise you, and, you know, it doesn't work out, you know, most of the time, honestly. You end up running in the tire tracks of the guy in front. And Seth Hatchell able to get a good run that time off turn 2. He'll jump to the outside of Angelo Ronis, and he's got some nice clean air out in front. Everybody electing to go to the bottom in front of him, so that worked out pretty well. And James Loveland trying to follow through along with Braxton DeWeese.
And you said it right. You're just kind of playing a guessing game sometimes. Just try to go where other people aren't. And if you're that lead car, you're really just trying to take away that preferred line, take away the clean air. Braxton DeWeese doing a good job of managing that traffic around him. He's making some moves up through the field, now up into the 7th position, getting around the 22 of Angelo Ronis there. So, you know, good recovery here out of the 00 of DeWeese. He's gotten behind on track position a couple of times, once because of the pit road miscue under the first caution, and then just the way that the pit cycle played out before this most recent caution. But just showing why he has set himself as one of those championship favorites, able to recover, keep himself in contention here this evening. So he's got a trio of VSPEED cars there right in front of him. Keith Mayato in 4th, Seth Hatchell in 5th, James Loveland in 6th. And, you know, out of the 3 of them, it seems like Seth Hatchell has kind of struggled the most on the long runs. And I use that term loosely, because he still had really good long run pace, but the 02 and the 36, they have been, I mean, some of the most lights out here on long runs. So be curious to see if they're able to utilize that here as we get to the end of this race.
Yeah, and we say that Adam Cabot has pretty well dominated this race. He's led 60 of the 95 laps completed, now 61 laps, and just absolutely dominant form like we saw from him at New Hampshire. But it's all up until about 40 laps into a run where the rest of the field starts to close in on him. And Jeff Wright, since he's gotten a second here, has not been able to put all that much pressure on. He's about 4 or 5 car lengths back now, running the top side, trying to find some extra speed and clean air, and just not able to do anything with it. Bailey Turner, same situation. He's led a good chunk of laps here after starting up at the front of the field, but he's kind of been a 2nd or 3rd place car for most of this race, and interested to see how he's approaching the last 30 laps.
Yeah, and really, as far as Jeff Wright, you know, you talk about he hasn't made a whole lot of ground as of yet on Adam Cabot since getting up in that 2nd position. This is kind of what we've seen out of him the first few runs, though. When we do start getting farther into the tire run, it seems like about lap 10 to 20 or 25 of the run, he's just kind of pacing. He knows where he wants to be. He's not pushing the car too hard. He's just kind of managing his stuff. But then as we get a little bit later into the run, that's where he starts to turn it up. And maybe it's not even necessarily that he's turning it up. He just doesn't fall off on the speed quite as much as some of these other guys. So We'll see if that trend holds true. It's a little bit further back. A driver that does seem to be struggling a little bit is that 22 of Angelo Ronas. He's lost a few spots since we've gone back green here, back to the 8th position. And now Cody Atkins and Alan Dice have caught up to him, trying to put some pressure on to get around for those spots as well. And here comes Braxton DeWeese looking to the inside of that 0-2 of James Loveland. Again, wasn't anything there. He's going to go up to the to the Larson line there almost. Pulls it down off the wall just a little bit and trying to just find any clean air and speed he can here in that 0-0.
Yeah, he's using every inch of racetrack that time, all the way down on the bottom of the apron on the front stretch, which is legal, and it can upset the race car just a little bit. But if you've got, you know, fresher tires, they're 20 laps into the run, he should be able to handle that. Seth Hatchell going to get passed up by his teammate. So Loveland, nice run off turn number 2, able to take that spot away and move into the top 5. We'll see what he's got to challenge these top 4 drivers. He was very strong at the end of the run before they pitted under green. And wow, Keith Maioto dove it into turn number 1, didn't he? He got right to the back bumper of Bailey Turner and nearly got into him, but he's going to push him down the backstretch here.
Yeah, I think Keith Maioto knows this is go time. If I've got anything left, I need to start making pretty lengthy there at the beginning of this run. That 36 has been the strongest car of the night on these long runs. Inside of 20 laps to go now. If he's got anything left, this is the time to use it. He's within a second of the race leader. As you can see, the 0-2 of Loveland there got into the wall just a bit, back behind Bailey Turner. But he's within a second of the leader. He's still got plenty of time to do it. But the big key is if he gets to Jeff Wright, he's going to have to make the move quick. He can't really waste any time to try to get up there and take this lead away.
And Cody Atkins now looking to the inside of Braxton DeWeese. Braxton was looking to make a pass on Seth Hatchell, but got checked up a little bit coming off of the corner and not able to do that. Actually slowed him up so much that Cody was able to get alongside. And that time, Cody Atkins slowing down, trying to make the move, and here comes Angelo Ronas. So you've got to be very intentional about when you try and make your passes this late into the run. And some of these guys timing them just wrong and losing a lot of, you know, momentum, costing them opportunities to make those moves, you know, for a few more laps. So these guys kind of stacked up here just at the tail end of the top 10. Meanwhile, Keith Maioto continuing to close up on Jeff Wright, and James Loveland all over Bailey Turner.
Yeah, those VSPEED machines are showing a ton of speed right now. And Keith Maioto has been the fastest out of your top 3 the last few laps. Even with him riding in the tire tracks of Jeff Wright, he's still been matching, if not running just a little bit faster than Adam Cabot. He's going to have to try to make the move quick, but we know Jeff Wright is very fast. He's a very crafty driver. He's going to try to make this as hard as possible, but just as soon as I say that, Keith Maioto, as these drivers often have a tendency to do, he's going to prove me wrong. He's going to make it look easy on the outside. He gets into the 2nd position. Nothing between he and Adam Cabot now except for 15 laps to try to get up there and take this race win away in the late stages.
Yeah, he's only led a couple of laps, but that was at the very end of the green flag run, where he had tracked down Adam Cabot after, I think Keith was back in about 7th or 8th, maybe at the start of that run. But looks like Jeff Wright, nice bit of speed off turn number 4. Keith got a little bit tight, and he's pushing. Both these guys are pushing really hard, and they're both tracking down Adam Cabot.
Yeah, and you know, if you're Jeff Wright, the biggest thing you want to do right now is try to stay as close to Keith Maioto as possible. If you could give him a little bit of draft help down the straightaway, try to get both of you there. And then maybe if Maioto and Cabot start racing side by side, you could take advantage and try to do a 3-wide situation to get around for the race win. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that out. But this last time by, just about dead even between our top 3 on lap times. I mean, all within half a tenth of a second of one another. So Keith Maioto, if he's got anything left, he's got to throw the kitchen sink at it right now. And if Adam Cabot has been saving anything here through this last run rather, now is the time to start to use it. You've only got 11 laps to go. Not a whole lot of time left in this race.
Yeah, battle back here inside the top 10. Angelo Ronas and Alan Dice Allen looking to the inside, not able to complete the pass. Angelo will hang on to that 9th position. Also, James Loveland has not been able to complete the move on Bailey Turner. He's tried a handful of times, but might be running out of opportunities. The more you kind of push that race car, push those tires, the harder it's going to get each and every time. And, you know, I'm thinking that may be what happened to Keith Mayato. He had to make a couple extra passes, and it looks like he's stabilized right here behind Adam Cabot. That last time, Cabot was your fastest driver by, you know, a few hundredths of a second. Not a whole lot, but enough that it's going to be tough for the 36 to get there.
Yeah, he has definitely got his work cut out for him, and that was something that we talked about after that restart with Mayato dropping back to the 4th position. It doesn't seem like a lot, but just that one extra car that you have to pass, that little bit more turbulent air that you have to be in, can take just enough life out of the tires to where you're not going to be able to get up there and mount that challenge for the win. And it seems like unless Mayato can get him cooled back down, maybe find a little bit of extra grip, that may be the case here this evening, as Adam Cabot is now starting to stretch that lead back out just a bit over the 36. Cabot was, like you said, he was faster than Keith Mayato the last time around. We'll take a look at what the lap times are at the line this time around. Adam Cabot running a 31:02, Keith Mayato a 31:04. So just about even between the two of them, and not a whole lot of laps left.
Adam Cabot looking for his 4th victory in 8 races, which would be an incredible start to an already amazing, you know, season here in 2026. And looking to do it in a similar way to what he did at New Hampshire. Obviously not leading every single lap, and maybe not even the most dominant car overall in pace, but he's had control of this race, has not relinquished it other than very briefly. And now Jeff Wright going to go back to 2nd, and he's showing a bit of speed here in the closing moments.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming. I thought once Keith Mayato got around for the 2nd position, that would pretty much be all she wrote as far as Jeff Wright up there in P2, unless the leaders started racing one another. But Wright able to take that position back away from Keith Mayato here. He's trying to run that uppermost groove in 3 and 4. Looked like he lost a little bit of grip there on the exit. Almost allowed Mayato back to his inside. And all of this just helping the cause for Adam Cabot. The more that those drivers race side by side, the more he's going to be able to stretch that lead out just a little bit at a time. And just try to set sail here and come home with, like you said, his 4th win of the season in just 8 races. I mean, if you're winning at a 50% clip in any series, that's a really impressive start.
Yeah, and I was going to say, he's making his money tonight in turns 1 and 2. He has just been perfect on that end of the racetrack. Jeff Wright's been really good in 3 and 4. At least on entry, he closes up a lot, but it's costing him, you know, tremendously on exit now. As we've just got under 5 laps to go, and Cabot looking to get another one under his belt. And it doesn't look like he's going to have any challengers from outside of these two if they can find something in the tank, but going to be a tall order, and I don't think we're going to have any cautions necessarily. But we do have a battle back here. Jake Maki, Michael Jones, 12th and 13th. They're racing pretty tightly. Adam Cabot just hoping this thing goes green to the end.
Yeah, really solid battle here between Maki and Michael Jones. Looking to the inside is the 13, not quite able to get alongside Michael Jones, utilizing that momentum off of corner exit to keep that position. Pulls the gap just a little bit as they head down the front straightaway, and starting to stretch that gap now over the 13. So good run by both of those drivers, keeping the car clean tonight, just outside of the top 10. Jeff Wright now starting to stretch that gap over Keith Mayato for the 2nd position. Both of those drivers, though, still not quite in shouting distance of Adam Cabot. They're going to have to hope at this point for a caution or a mistake out of the 17, but we haven't seen that 17 make many mistakes this season, you know, aside from maybe being upside down at Mosport. I think that's about the only mistake that we've seen out of him so far. but just really strong start here, really strong season for him so far. A lot of speed out of that 17. Just 2 laps to go now here at Las Vegas.
And Keith Mayato has not been able to put that pressure on Jeff Wright to force him into a mistake. Jeff has found a lot of speed after about the midpoint of this race, where he climbed through the field, got into the top 5 on pace alone, and has been up here, battling with a chance to go up there and take the lead, but it's not going to be quite enough unless the 17 has a catastrophic error. White flag is going to come out, and this race will be official. And Adam Cabot looking to go back to victory lane.
Yeah, another really strong run here for the 17 this evening. Not going to have to worry about any restarts, any green-white checker finishes. Just one more time through turns 3 and 4. He's got plenty of gap over the 48 of Jeff Wright. Exits turn number 4. And for the 4th time this season, Adam Cabot in the 17 is going to be your race winner here in the FloridaSkinDoctor.com BTDY Racing Series. Really strong performance, 86 laps led on the evening. Jeff Wright will come home in 2nd. Keith Mayato will round out your podium, and there's Bailey Turner giving a little congratulations to his teammate, maybe saying, "Hey, dude, you gonna teach me how to get up there and do that?" No, we know Turner's got plenty of speed. We know Turner's got plenty of speed to do it. And I have to laugh, Adam. Teammates, you're going to give each other more crap than anybody else. Whenever you win, you're going to sit there and try to rub each other on the cool down lap. So it's cool to see that camaraderie between the teammates as Cabot's going to go tear up the infield grass.
He's going to be a bit dizzy after that one. That was quite the slide, the donuts there. That was pretty cool. End up back on the racetrack and do a burnout. Nice way to celebrate here at Las Vegas. His 4th win of the season. We'll interview him as well as the top 3 finishers after a great race here at Las Vegas. We'll be right back.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at FloridaSkinDoctor.com.
STEELE Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact STEELE Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit STEELE Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at DuncanWaterSystems.com.
Welcome back to the STEELE Graphics and Designs 180 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our full race finishing results to let you know where your favorite driver finished here this evening. For starting first, finishing first, the 17 of Adam Cabot. In second place, Jeff Wright, actually your biggest mover of the race, up 15 spots from where he started this evening. Keith Mayato rounds out your podium. We will talk to those three here in just a moment. Bailey Turner, solid run for him this evening, comes home in fourth. James Loveland comes home in the fifth position. Seth Hatchell in sixth. Braxton DeWeese in seventh. Cody Atkins in eighth. Alan Dice finishes in the ninth position. Another big mover this evening, up 10 spots from where he started. Rounding out your top 10 is Angelo Ronis in the 22.
Finishing 11th here tonight. Strategy not quite falling his way. Paul Hahn in that 11th position. Michael Jones able to recover after a wreck earlier, comes home in 12th. Jake Maki finishes in the 13th position, coming home 14th. Cody Maurer, after starting up there on the front row, things didn't quite fall his way with the strategy either. Dennis Faircloth, first car off the lead lap at 15th. Jake Miller going to finish in the 16th spot here tonight. Thomas Brendel, 17th. 18th was Ray Massey. Eric Hutton comes home in 19th, and Dallas Sullivan rounds out your top 20. Noah Mahalski finishing in the 21st spot. 22nd, Rob Liedel. And rounding out your field tonight, Zach Smith in 23rd.
That is your full race results. So we'll go ahead and get a word with our top three finishers. And Adam Baker, I believe you have caught up with third place Keith Mayato.
Yes, sir. Keith, this is Adam and Daniel in the booth. You got us?
Done for it.
Well, Keith, a great run for you here tonight. Had amazing long run pace. You got up there, took the lead away, and just couldn't quite get back to the point in the end. But a third place finish. Just describe the run and race tonight, and just what you were doing there to preserve the tires.
Well, I learned how to preserve the tires on the first stint. I didn't really use much of that knowledge on the third stint, or even the last stint. So I knew, top three guys were going to try to protect me from trying to get that advantage. And Bailey did very well at aero blocking me many times until I got the pass. But at that point, I think I used up the right front way too much. Just trying to get that run on Bailey. But all in all, it was fun. It was a fun race. It was good to have, some long runs in there and able to move somewhat. The top line really had no effect, but we had at least, maybe 60% of the track to work with. Competitive enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw guys moving around and, looked real.
That was the only way. If you would enter, try to carry all that momentum through the top groove, yeah, the corner exit didn't have too much speed.
Yeah, saw a lot of guys catching the wall out there and a lot of damage on a lot of race cars tonight. It was very difficult. You had your own moments there coming off of turn 4 on the bottom side, getting loose like so many others did here. But overall, able to recover, put up a great show here in third place. We go to Rockingham next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I'm not sure. I haven't been very successful on the short tracks with this car. It's been a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be. So we'll see. Hopefully, I can survive the chaos and maybe pull a W from in that way.
Well, if you keep running the throwback scheme there, it might work out at a throwback racetrack. You never know. But great run out here tonight, Keith. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to yourself and Daniel for doing an awesome job in the broadcast. STEELE Graphic Design for sponsoring the race tonight, and everyone for putting on a fun race tonight.
Awesome, Keith. Well, thanks for taking some time here. Great performance, as always. Good to talk to you, and we'll catch you next week at Rockingham.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too. That is your third place finisher, Keith Mayato. And now we're going to go down to second place. And I believe you are with Jeff Wright.
I am standing by with Jeff Wright. This is Daniel and Adam up in the booth. You got us?
I got a copy.
Man, another solid run. I thought there for a little while you might make it back-to-back wins here. But, starting 17th on the field, working your way up to second, like you had a ton of long run speed. Just talk about what it was like driving your way up through the field like that this evening.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Past few cars there. Kind of early in the goings, we got tangled up a little bit with an incident, and thankfully really didn't have any damage out of it. But kind of scorched the tires, and I decided to keep that same set because short limited tire sets here. I felt pretty good on the long run. I think the benefit was the field really got kind of spread out that first initial run. So I wasn't really directly behind anybody for too long, and so I think that really kept our tires on it, and we were able to kind of drive up into the top 5, and then cycled out to be about third before the caution fell, and then yeah, I was able to grab a spot there on pit lane, and then restart in front row with Adam Cabot. You know, he's really good at this racetrack. I've raced against him quite a few times across various leagues, and I knew it was going to be a tall order to try to go get that 17 car. And yeah, just didn't quite have enough for the win tonight, but super fun racing everybody. Was clean out there. And then, yeah, just kind of trying to, learn this car and learn the update because things drive a little bit differently. But one thing's for certain, that dirty air is still very, very present.
Well, and the impressive thing is you didn't just drive up through the field once; you had to do it twice because you had that spin early on where you got kind of caught up in what was just a little bit of carnage there. We saw that you had a little hit to the right front in that spin. Was there any kind of lasting damage on the car that was affecting the handling, or were you able to get all of that cleaned up?
Yeah, I think we got it all fixed. When I took it to pit lane, I wasn't sure. I thought we were going to have maybe a little bit of optional damage, but we went to the pit box and didn't say anything. So I think we really dodged a bullet there. Didn't have any aero damage. I think the first or that second stint when we spun out and we slid, we didn't put tires on it. So might have been a slight disadvantage there with kind of heating those tires up and getting them worn just a little bit. But I mean, we really didn't go that many laps on it. So I didn't feel like it was really important to take a set of tires there. But yeah, the race kind of spread out. We were able to get some air to the front of the car, and I think that really helped us kind of drive through the field there. And then I felt really good about our pit sequence there too. I thought we got on and off pit lane really well. Put us in a good position to try to run top 3. And then with that late caution there, had a shot to restart in the front row, but just didn't quite have enough for that 17 of Adam Cabot tonight.
Well, still a really impressive drive for you coming home with the P2. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank or shout out for this one?
Yeah, just big thanks to VSPEED. You guys doing great work up in the booth every single week. I want to shout out all the league admins, Cody and all the guys, and obviously all the league sponsors that make this thing happen. So just appreciative everybody what they do to put these things on Tuesday nights.
All right, well, congrats again on the P2. We'll see you next week at Rockingham.
All right, thank you.
That is your second place finisher, Jeff Wright. I'm going to make the virtual sprint down here to victory lane. Catch up with our race winner, Adam Cabot. This is Daniel and Adam up in the booth. You got us?
I got you.
Well, man, another solid run for you. This is, I don't know if we've talked to you after every race so far this season. It certainly seems like it.
No, I came in 4th last week, so,
Okay.
Rough
Okay.
race.
Well, yeah, tough race, man, when you come home 4th, and that's like your low point of the season so far. But yeah, I mean, another solid run. I know the box score is going to make it look like you took him to the woodshed. Start first, finish first, lead 86 laps. But there was definitely a lot of different strategy plays and challenges that went through to get to that point. Just talk a little bit about, when everybody was getting off sequence, a couple different pitch cycles that people were on, how did you manage that as far as deciding what strategy to play out and how to make those decisions?
Yeah, honestly, my mind wasn't really in strategy mode tonight. So the second I saw Bailey pit and maybe another car to maybe Seth, I was like, all right, the fast guys around me are pitting. I'll pit now. So that was pretty much all that thought that went into my pit strategy. But then we came back out on the track, and I'm like, are these guys that are staying out, are they going to be able to make it a one stop? And everyone's like, no. And then they eventually were like, actually, I think they might be able to. So it would have been really interesting to see what would have happened if the race went green and that caution didn't come out, because I feel like there were at least 2 or 3 guys that were, I don't know for sure if they could make it, but they must have been really close. They must have thought that they had a chance, otherwise they wouldn't have stayed out that long. So yeah, that would have been interesting to see how it played out. But yeah, as far as the race, the first run I pushed really hard. Well, I guess the second run, the first longer green flag run, I pushed really hard to make the pass on Bailey to get the lead, because clean air, it seemed like, I mean, obviously last week was Darlington. That was brutal with the dirty air, but it seemed like this week it was also really, really bad. So just to work that hard to get to first, I felt like I used up too much of my right front tire. And then Keith was really quick on that run and ran me down and passed me for the lead. So I figured, yeah, pit now and get back on track and try to do a better job saving the tires. And luckily was able to catch a caution, which I think helped me a little bit. And once I was restarting on fresh tires and clean air, it was just management. Like I was honestly just able to drive so much easier than everyone else. And I was the whole last run just focusing on saving the right front tire. And every time someone would get in like that 4/10, 5.5 second range behind me, I'd push a little bit harder. But really just them getting that close to me, it just made them have to work that much harder. So I was able to save a ton of tire that last run and then pick up the pace with like 10 laps to go. So yeah, definitely great to get another win. I do wish that I'm glad that Jeff's back racing with us here, and of course he goes out and wins last week. But we've had some really good battles this track, and I think if this car wasn't so aero dependent, we would have had a really fun battle between the two of us up here. So yeah, but that's the next gen for you sometimes. But yeah, overall another great finish, great race, and looking good to hopefully put together a championship season.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much better of a start, winning half of the races to this point of the season. Looking ahead next week to Rockingham, this one, I love what the schedule is over here in BTDY in general, because there are tracks that NASCAR Cup Series just doesn't go to. I think it's cool to have that variety, Rockingham being one of them. So how are you feeling about what could be a bit of a, maybe a bit of a wild card race next week, since it's not really one of the more common tracks that you'll see on Cup schedules?
Well, it's interesting because Rockingham is one of my favorite tracks, but so far this season, like obviously can't complain winning half the races, but it's literally the half the races that I would expect to not be winning, and the races that I go into thinking like, oh man, this is going to be I have the chance to go out here and dominate or put on a really good race. Those have been the ones that I've struggled a little bit. So I don't really know what to expect because I love I love Rockingham and love Darlington too. But I don't think I've ever driven in this car, and it's still old Rockingham, right? With all the bumps.
I'll be honest, I have no idea, because I know they have the rescan where they did update it, and I've seen a few races there recently, and it definitely drives night and day different. A couple other VSPEED series I've called have raced there. But yeah, that is a good question. That would have been something that that you would think the commentator would find out before they get up here in the booth.
Well,
but here
we're
we
the
are.
drivers. I mean, we are driving next week, so I guess that's on both of us. But regardless, if it's old Rockingham, that's going to be wild in this car with all the bumps, because this car does not like bumps. But yeah, I mean that'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But like you said, probably a bit of a wild card, so we'll see.
Well, based off that, here's hoping it's old Rockingham, tire fall off, bumps galore. We'll see who can manage it the best. But congrats again on another win here this season. Before we let you go, who do you want to thank or shout out for this one?
Shout out to Jeff Wright on this one. I hope he races more with us this season. We probably one of our favorite races, both Jeff and I, was at this point a long time ago, probably like 5 or 6 years ago at this track. But I mean, I think it was 120 laps, and we were just basically swapping the lead back and forth the entire time. But that was old car, old tire model, a lot different than it is now. But definitely cool to see him back and being able to run 1-2 with him again.
Right. Well, there you have it from our race winner, Adam Cabot. Congrats again on that win. We'll see you next week. Whether it's new or old Rockingham, we'll see you there next week.
Sounds good. Thanks.
There you have it from our top 3 finishers here this evening. And man, what a race that we saw here this evening, Adam. A little bit of everything. We had the long green flag runs. We had a little bit of calamity in between. What else could you really ask for out of another great BTDY race?
Yeah, this is, just a classic one here, right? A lot of amazing battles all race long. Clean racing, obviously a couple of incidents early on, but I think guys just getting acclimated to the car in traffic, kind of leading to that. And ultimately, great drivers rising to the occasion at the end of this one. Some of the winningest drivers making up your top 4, 5, 6 positions, right, in this race. So really a classic BTDY event, and looking forward to Rockingham. That's also one of my favorite tracks, so should be fun to see the next gens out there.
Yeah, it is going to be a good one. Like I said, I have no idea whether we're going to do Rockingham, old Rockingham. Either way, we will be there next week for an absolutely phenomenal race. Both of them race really awesome. They both definitely race different. But I'm just saying, personally, I hope that it is in fact the old Rockingham, because I just want to see these next gen cars going over those bumps. So we will be right there next week with you. That's going to do it for our coverage here this evening at Las Vegas. So on behalf of all the admins here in BTDY, for everybody at VSPEED, Bradley Cooper, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and of course you as well, Adam. Appreciate you pulling the double duty up here as always. And also thank you to Dougie Beard for those cameras that we had here this evening. My name's Daniel Cunningham. Join us as we head off to the Rock next week for race number 9 of the season. And good night, everyone.